day 3 is in the bag. Um, we work more on our perspective. We start looking at different areas within it. I'm telling you, it's not really that hard, but the thing is, you spend a lot of time trying to pull references to solidify the answers that they're looking for in these different compartments or different sections of the perspective. I mean, it's not that hard. I mean, it really takes from your 10 points, but just adds a little bit more information. You start looking at your methodology, looking at how you're going to go about grabbing the information, how you're going to go by utilizing these tools to measure your variables. Again, I can only talk from the quantitative side. You all that are doing qualitative, I can't really guide you on that because I really don't know. And to be honest with you, I focus all my time on the quantitative because that's the direction that I'm going in. But it teaches you to go and start looking at practical exercises that you're going to use to gather information, how you're going to process information, what software you're going to use, what is the different method, the design work that you're going to use. Those things you kind of have in mind because you've been writing it on your 10 points, but now it just goes a little more in depth to what actually is going to happen. How are you going to do this? Explain how you gather the data. What are you going to process? What are the results going to be measured against? What are you looking for? What's the reason for this research project that you're doing? What is not only your themes, what are your theories? What are you looking at that's going to happen? What is your belief in all of these different things that goes into your dissertation? So for the first time, you're really looking into an in-depth study of what you're trying to bring forth. So when you leave here with your perspective, you should have a great outline to start writing your chapter 2. Chapter 1, remember, that's your introduction. Chapter 3 is the way or method that you're using to get to your methodology. So you're kind of getting everything together, so when you present it to your AQR or the IRB, they'll pretty much see what you're doing. They'll know the history of what you're doing. They're looking at what your outcome is expecting, how you're going to go about doing it, why you're doing it. All those things begin to get answered now when you come to Residence 2. I wouldn't tell you to be stressed out. Really, take it easy, take a breath, because if you've been working on your 10 points, it's going to kind of put things together. Make sure that you have been working on your gap, making sure you're trying to keep it fresh and new, because things do change and you might find one that's a little better than the other. And try to make sure if you got 1, 2, or 3 variables that they all line in together. I found out that you really only need 2, but for my study, I need 3 because what I'm trying to bring together requires to have those 3 components working together to bring the end result what I'm looking for. That might not be your story. Work in the guidelines where you have established. Don't go in and try to recreate the wheel or things like that. If you got a wheel that is rolling, why don't you just come with a way of putting oil on it and keep it moving. Keep it simple. That's our whole thing that we've been taught. Keep it simple. Let's get through this process. Let's not try to make it too complex for ourselves. I found out today that one of the things when it comes to your writing level, they say the dissertation is supposed to be, and again, this is just word of mouth. I don't know how true or how factual it is, but I'm hearing that it's not as strenuous as we were putting it far as the level of conversation. When the person read it, I think what I heard today, again, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I've heard it's supposed to be on a 6th grade level. What I mean by that is that the 6th grader should be able to articulate what you're saying without much stress. So you all that are prolific writers and writing these 13 and 14 word syllables, hey, if that's the way you write, that's the way you write. My thing is to make sure that I get it across clear, make sure that I have error-free, edit as much as I can, proofread it over and over again, read it out loud, whatever method you use to make sure that you're getting the best quality out. Continue on with that, and I think we'll be fine. Now, the next updates I'll be having after these next 2 days will be me just telling you how I'm going through the process when I go through to proposal class, when I get into the different dissertations, where I'm at in that process. I'm going to try to bring you as much as I can, as long as it doesn't jeopardize or interfere with what I'm trying to do with the dissertation. And I think I'll have enough time to break away and share some of this insightful information with you in hopes that it would help you. I'm not going to say everything that is going to be shared, but as much as I can, I will. So I want you to take advantage of this. Day 3, I want you to understand that is not as challenging as what you may think. It's not, excuse me, it's nowhere as near when the first time you came resident where you didn't know what the 10 points and all that stuff. Excuse me again. Here you're taking your 10 points and just cleaning it up a little bit more. Understanding that this is your bread and butter to what you're building your foundation on, and understand what your topic is. What is it that you're trying to get from this information? It's easy to grab an article and read, but if you can't sit there and explain the reason why you're using these articles, or why you're using these variables, or why you're using this phenomenon, whatever you're doing, if you can't explain why you're doing it, then you're wasting your time. So try to find what your topic is and stick to that. And there'll be a topic of red apples. You know, why do you want to talk about apples? Because whatever that is, let's stick to that. And that's what you need to know. And then it's easy to build upon, because as you go on, you're steady reading and you're trying to get information to solidify the reason why you think your topic is so important and why it's valuable for you to bring this up at this time, and how other people are going to benefit from what you're bringing. So I want to encourage you to stay focused, keep working on it. Don't get deterred. When you come to residency, just come open, you know, like, hey, this is the first level of understanding that somebody may not like what you wrote. Somebody might have some questions, somebody have concerns. All you gotta do is be able to explain it. And if you gotta make some adjustments, make it. I mean, it's not like the world's gonna burn down now. I do recommend, if you are coming and you haven't took your perspective class, or your proposal, I think you should come before that if you can, so you can get a little edge up before you go into your perspective class. Because what you take from here, you'll be able just to add a little bit more to that and go to your perspective class with an almost prepared perspective for them to grade and move on to the next level. Because all we're doing is building on it. And what better way to do is to have something that is almost finished, almost completed by the time you're in residency, that you can go to that class and just say, here, what else is needed. So remember, even though we still have to work on our dissertation perspective, the written version, this template that we have to turn in at our perspective is needed, and we want to make sure that it's clear as much as possible, because everything else builds off of that. Remember, the written part of the dissertation perspective is what helps you to write your chapter 2, your chapter 1 and chapter 3. We can't write a chapter 4 or 3, 4, 4 or 5 until we get everything approved from our IRB and the AQR and that, and then your defense. Yes, I found out there's 2 defenses that we have. We have our first one, once we have finished chapter 1, 2, and 3, we have a defense to in front of our chair and the methodologist and content expert, and I think AQR, then before you send it up to the IRB. So that's the first one. Then you have your next one later when everything is done, and this will be the final one before they send it over for the dean to sign off on it. So we have 2 little defenses coming up, and we witnessed one today. I'm telling you, if you get a chance, you want to sit in on one, or at least ask your professor when you come in, do they have one that you can watch or see while you're here? Because I'm telling you, it is so beneficial, because it takes the stress off of you when you watch someone navigate through the same articles, not the same article, but your articles or their articles in a manner that you will have to do later. And you will see it's not as strenuous as what you think it may be. It brings that sense of peace. At least it did for me. It made me feel like this is really doable, because up to now, I really haven't got any instruction. You get a little bit here, a little bit here, but when you see someone has went through the process and defended their presentation, you're like, hey, I can do that. I can see me doing it. And that's a sense of motivation. As again, day 3, not as challenging. It is a little challenging if you find yourself, way out there and not having a strong foundation to work on. Your 10 points are all over the place. Excuse me. That'd be something that I think, if I was pass anything over to you all that are coming to work on that. Work on your 10 points. If you're at GCU, I don't know what anybody else have, but GCU, that's all I can speak of. Work on that area. Hone it in. Ask questions. Begin to ask your professors questions about it, because you want a solid references. You want a solid understanding of what's what. You want to know, when you get this information, what are your plans of how you're going to either disperse it out to the people if you're doing a survey, gather the information, how you're going to write it up, what different tools or measuring scales are going to be used. You want to bring all this to mind and have this on your paper. What are your theories? Write them down. What is your background on it? What if you had to tell me what it was? You want to be able to say, hey, I got this based off of this. This is what I'm expecting to happen. This is the results that I would like to see. And at the end of the story, I want to be able to present this to someone who I believe is going to be beneficial from the information that I give, that's going to make their life easier, make their self more productive. Depend on what your discipline is. That's the target audience that you want to be reading your articles and making a change. With that being said, hey, do the best you can. Don't stress. You're going to get through it. You made this far. Just push on a little bit more. And together, we're going to walk across that stage. Even if I go before you, you'll still walk across that stage. I tell you what, after I walk, I'm going to make sure I leave a spot for you. And I'm going to celebrate with you when you walk through it. Hey, if y'all tune in next week or whenever you hear this again, please put something in the comment. Let me know how you're doing. And maybe if you want to reach out to me and ask me some questions, I'll be willing to help you as much as I can. Just think this, after I finish and I get my PhD, I'm going to try to create a forum where people like you and I can go and ask questions, and I can help them as much as you all are helping me. Believe it or not, by me sharing this stuff with you, I feel a little more relieved that I'm doing something to help the next future doctor get along the way. So, hey, hit me up, subscribe to the button down there, hit the like button, hit the little bell, so next time I put something on, you'll be the first one to be made aware of. Hey, it's been a joy talking to you. Hey, I'll be back tomorrow for day 4, and we'll tell you what happened. Remember, we'll be presenting tomorrow and Friday. Most likely, I'm looking at presenting on Friday, but if there's a chance I present on Thursday, I'll let you know how that went. But if not, I'll definitely let you know how it goes on Friday. One way or another, you'll hear how that presentation goes. And I tell you what my pitfalls were things I need to work on. I'm not perfect, you all. I got some areas to work on too. Matter of fact, I got something I need to work on tonight. But you know what? I'm going to rest tonight. I'll deal with it in the morning. See that? You got to make time for yourself too. It's not always push, push, push. All right, till we talk again.